Hi everyone, I'm Lisa with Down to Earth Gardening and Design, and today we're talking about why you'll love snake plant and everything you need to know about it. So this is one of my favorite houseplants, and there's so many things to love about it. So it was Plant of the Year in 2025, and for good reason. I'm pretty sure that it should be Plant of the Year every year because it makes a wonderful plant for beginners. It's so easy care, and you'll often see it in a lot of businesses or offices as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, and I'm going to give you 6 great things about it. And you're going to find out why you'll love it. You're going to fall in love with it. And then I'm going to be repotting this because this was a gift and I'm not really loving the pot, and I can make it look a lot fuller and really let it shine in a new pot. So a little bit about this snake plant. First of all, you may have heard it called by some other names. It is a Sansevieria, and it also is a Dracaena. But it's also been called mother-in-law's tongue. So a few different names, and there's also quite a few different varieties. So this one here has some beautifully patterned gray and green foliage, but you'll see it in some different colors and variations, and also some yellow and green, white and green. So many different patterns and colors to choose from. Now, if you're in hardiness zones 9 through 11, you will see this plant growing very often outside. So it is tropical. It is also a succulent, so it stores the water in its foliage. It's a great house plant. It has lots of benefits and it's very versatile. So you can, if you live in a colder climate, you don't have to have it just as a house plant. I would say safely you can keep it outside until the temperature drops down to about 50 degrees, and it makes a beautiful addition to your patio or your deck or an outdoor room as well. But I just absolutely love it as a house plant, and let's talk about why. Okay, let's talk about the 6 reasons that you're going to fall in love with this plant. So number 1 is it's drought tolerant. So remember I said it's a great plant for beginners. It actually thrives on neglect, so it doesn't have a lot of watering needs, and in fact I will only water mine about once or twice a month because remember it is a succulent. So that's pretty great, very low care. So number 2 is it's adaptable. So in saying that, what I mean is it will adapt to a variety of light conditions. So you don't have to worry too much about where you're placing it in your home. There are some really great spots for it that I'm going to get to in a minute, but that means you could put it in a shady spot, a sunny spot, so you can really kind of think about your decor more than the plant's needs, which is pretty unusual. Number 3 is it is a great air purifier. So it will release moisture at night, makes it a great bedroom plant, and some people say they sleep better with this plant in their bedroom. But it will release the moisture, so if you also have a dry home or the heat in the winter sometimes makes it a little stuffy and dry, it'll add some moisture into the air and purify it by actually removing some pollutants and some allergens. So it can also help those of you with allergies as well, which is pretty great. Number 4 is spiritually, in many cultures, it's believed to ward off negative energy and bring some positive vibes, and also to bring some protection to your home. So that's pretty great. Number 5 is aesthetically pleasing. So it not only comes in a lot of different colors and textures, but the upright growth of this plant makes it a really elegant and modern plant. And I've seen this in a lot of modern and contemporary designs, and it's really fabulous. All right, and number 6 is it's easy to propagate, which means free plants. So from one plant, you can end up with many baby plants. It's very easy to do, and I actually have another snake plant that I'm getting ready to propagate and divide the easy way. So I'm going to save that topic for a future video. But who doesn't love free plants? All right, so let's get down to repotting it, and this is going to be a pretty easy task here and a fun one. So I'm just going to go through the materials quick, and we will list some in the links if you're interested. By the way, speaking of materials, I don't know if y'all noticed that I'm wearing a new t-shirt. So Plant Lady, we now have our own merch and a really great t-shirt line amongst some other things. But this is one of our designs. We designed them ourselves, so I'm pretty proud and happy to be wearing it. So check that out. It does help support our YouTube channel. All right, containers. So a container that is 5 times of your current container is really great because it'll give it enough room to grow. And I'm going to show you how to make this plant look a little bit fuller as well and fill out this pot. So the size of it, 5 times the current size. You also want to make sure that it has a drainage hole, at least one. I would be really happy if this one had some more drainage holes, and that's because remember, it's a succulent and it doesn't like to be sitting in water. So you will get root rot, and that's problematic. Another great material for a container would be clay or terracotta, because it is porous, so it'll wick away any excess moisture. So those are pretty inexpensive as well. Just make sure you have that drainage hole. Now, I have a tray here, and I don't ever want to use it to water from the bottom. We're going to talk a little more about that at the end of the video when we talk about care. But I do want it because it's going to be a house plant, and so I kind of want to protect my furniture. So that's the only reason why I'm using the base of this, or the tray, as well. So soil is pretty important. We are just going to use this cactus, palm, and citrus potting mix. So you want a nice, well-draining soil. If it has vermiculite in it, then that's probably a no, because that will hold the moisture, and it has to be well-draining for your snake plant. All right, let's get down to it. I have this nice potting mat that's going to help contain my mess, my scoop, and my hori-hori knife, which we may or may not need. Love this tool. Also can be used as a little trowel. So first we're going to remove it from the container. All right, so I'm really glad I did this because it's actually sitting in water. So this is a decorative container, not really a good fit for the snake plant. It has a liner, but it is sitting in water, so that's very bad. So this plant is going to do so much better in its new home. So I'm just going to lay this down here, and I'm going to separate the roots a little bit. And then I'm going to put a piece of recycled screen in the bottom to cover the hole, just to hold some of the soil here. I'll just show you what I'm doing. And then I'm going to start filling my container up. Okay. And then I'm just going to make a little nest for it here. But let me flip this around so you can see. Now remember I said what I want to do is make the pot look fuller. So what I'm actually going to try to do is just spread this out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to place it in its new pot. And we don't have to bury it too deep because the roots, you'll see them on the surface, and that is just how the plants grow. And I'm just going to fill around it. So this plant is a really attractive standalone plant, or you can make a little plant oasis and mix it up with some other plants, some different foliage, and it's really beautiful. Okay, make sure that it's really in there. And then let me try to show you what I'm doing here, give you a better look. And I'm really just packing it down. I'm trying to make sure that there's no air pockets. Isn't it crazy how much larger this looks already? So let's talk about aftercare. So we already touched on it a little bit. You can put this in the sun or shade of your home, so it's very adaptable when it comes to light. But as far as watering, I am going to refrain from watering this for a good long time because it was sitting in water. But typically you'll only need to water about once or twice a month. Now you can fertilize in the spring or summer, and it needs a little bit less fertilizer if it's in the shade versus the sun. So I like to dilute it anyway. It doesn't really require that much fertilizer, but just for some added plant health insurance, you can absolutely do so. And that's pretty much it. Pretty great, right, for a houseplant. So thrives on neglect. And I feel like this is a really great project to do right now because during the winter time, it gets kind of dark and dreary, and it's a lot of fun to have some houseplants inside. It really helps me get like a more calming feeling, and I love to bring the outside in, so it's pretty wonderful. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel because we love doing these videos for you. We have a lot more coming your way.